pants, they're black.
Yeah.
Evan,
So it'll be
Evan, is that the series where like Laquan Treadwell had like 2,000
yeah,
yards?
like 14 touchdowns.
All right, and that's a
But that was
perfect.
Madden. Like
Oh
I
my
didn't play the games at all. I simmed them, and then I looked at the stats, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. But I'm too far in to go back now.
Right,
Like
it's
I
too
just have to
late.
go
Yeah.
forward.
Right. And that's a
Yeah,
perfect segue into the game. Laquan Treadwell got called up from the practice squad.
Yep.
Olamide
Yep.
Zaccheaus went on IR.
Yep. Unfortunately, it
So
looks like it was turf toe. I was worried about that when he got hurt.
a former first round weapon for Matt Ryan to work with.
That just couldn't stay on the roster. He's just
Man,
been waiting.
That Ole Miss team had some dogs at wide receiver. Him and AJ Brown.
Mm-hmm.
That they had, yeah, it was him, AJ, DeMarcus Lodge.
Yeah.
Was Metcalf on that team, or was
Yeah,
that a little
Yeah.
before?
Yeah.
yeah.
he probably would have been like a freshman or something, right?
And
Yeah, I think he was a
remember we
freshman.
had Evan Ingram at tight end too.
That's right. Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Who was
That's
the
crazy.
quarterback? Kelly.
Chad Kelly,
Chad
Yeah.
Kelly.
the great Chad Kelly, who beat Alabama twice.
Great Chad Kelly. Shout out to Chad Kelly for that illustrious feat. But yes, guys, in case you missed it, welcome to episode 125 of the Falcoholic Live. We're going to be, of course, talking about that Raiders walloping, dominance. Choose your synonym for that. Just thoroughly dominant performance. Yeah, they got smacked. They got shellacked. They got shellacked. They got all the best ones. It was bad. Bad from the Raiders, and good for the Falcons, so that's nice. We're also going to get into some draft takes because it's starting to get to be that time of year. It's also going to be time for some prospect talk. I know I did a quarterback article today. I know a lot of people have questions about quarterbacks, but also other prospects as well. And then we're going to talk about the Saints rematch and, are they going to actually show up for this one of the game? They didn't show up last time, so maybe it would be nice maybe if they could win this one. But before we get into stuff, guys, I did want to let people know that as promised, it is now December and our Patreon is live. You can go there and check it out. It's patreon.com/Falcoholic It's very easy to remember. Our Discord is also live. Obviously, it's pretty bare bones now because there's only just like me and Evan and like one other person on there. But if you want to come in and hang out and start the conversation, the link to that server is in the show description. So check that out, guys, and we will continue working on that stuff for you as requested. Okay, so yes, Jeffrey Miller, thank you. The answer trash. That's good. We need to get that going in the chat because it is hate week. So keep that animus, moving throughout the show tonight. But yeah, I mean, I know Adnan was here on the post game. We had a chance to get into that utter domination a little bit. Evan, we haven't heard from you in a bit, since Thanksgiving. So, what were your thoughts on that game? Was it as shocking to you as it was to everyone else?
Yeah, I mean, it was very surprising. The defense completely, stepped up. I think seeing guys like Mariner, Means even played well. Terrell, I know that one play, I think it was against Ruggs, gave up a big catch, but like overall, I was pretty impressed with the defense. Keanu O'Neal was like flying around hitting people. I remember he stopped, I think it was Renfro before he got a first down. But yeah, overall, I was very impressed by the defense, and the offense, without Todd Gurley and Julio Jones looked pretty good. I did think it was interesting that Ito Smith basically outplayed Brian Hill.
Yeah.
They pretty much got an even split in carries. And it's like, I like Brian Hill and I'm always pulling for him, but when he gets those starts, he doesn't really do a whole lot. And you could probably blame Dirk Cutter for some of that. But, 13 for 55 isn't like a terrible day, but, he got 22 yards off of one of the carries. So
right, yeah.
it kind of inflates it a little bit. But, yeah, I think it's more of a solid running back committee when you take Gurley out, and there's nothing wrong with that. I did share that random ass statistic that for some reason the Falcons are 5-0 when Brian Hill gets 10 or more carries, and here we are. So
Here we are. Yeah, we figured out the secret. It's getting Brian Hill carries, for some
First down
reason.
I
plays,
think that's
first down plays this Sunday, carries to Brian Hill, and then the game's over. The
Yep.
teams
Yep.
just leave
We
the
just got to
field
get
and
to
get to
10. Yeah, that's all we got to do. That's the secret. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty clear to me that like Ito Smith was more effective on a per touch basis, and like Ito averaged 5.4 yards per carry on 12 carries. That's pretty good. He had the touchdown too. But yeah, I mean, it's disappointing. Brian Hill, like I think it's kind of like the ship has sailed with Brian Hill. Like he's fine. He's not. I think in like a Kyle Shanahan offense, an offense that is actually good in terms of using a running back and coordinating a run game, like he could probably get you 1,000 yards in a season, like if you gave him enough carries. But he's kind of like a C plus running back to me. Like I just don't really see him as someone who you build an offense around or really create a role for. He's just like a quality backup, a quality like number 2 maybe. And I think Ito just offers more. Like Ito's a much better receiver. He's a lot more slippery. He can actually like create a little bit on his own, which is absolutely necessary for an offense that's as bad as the Falcons in terms of running the football.
he had 4 catches.
Yeah, that's like the most catches a Falcons running back has had all season, I think, because they just don't throw the damn ball to running backs anymore. But it's interesting to me. I hope Ito gets more of a chance. Jet Luigi, like I don't think Hill's ever going to get 1,000 yards in Atlanta under Dirk Cutter. I don't think any running back will. But like in Kyle Shanahan's offense in like 2016, if Brian Hill was the top guy, he definitely would have got 1,000 yards in this offense. But Kyle Shanahan can turn literally anyone off the street into a 1,000-yard running back if they stay healthy. So I'm pretty sure like all 4 of the 49ers running backs had like a 100-yard game at some point. Like he just is a magician with that. The Falcons aren't going to be doing that with Dirk Cutter as their run game, leader. But under a new offense, I think that Ito definitely deserves a role. Quadri Olson will probably be here. No matter what, because he's under contract and really cheap. But I guess this is kind of an interesting seg into, what do we think about Brian Hill's future with the team before we get back to more of this Raiders stuff, because I don't really see a need to like bring him back necessarily.
I think, at best, his ceiling, he's a good complimentary guy. A lot of it is going to depend on, as we always say, who's the head coach, what the scheme is like next year. If it's a situation where, they bring in a guy like Arthur Smith, I don't really see a place for him because they're obviously going to go in a different direction as far as who's going to be their back. But if they go with a guy like Bieniemy or someone that uses a team that utilizes a committee, I can see him being back next year. I wouldn't mind if he's back next year, honestly, but strictly in a complimentary role. And this past Sunday was a little disappointing because I thought this was a game where the run lanes were there. But he was, in the first half, he was tender.
Yeah.
And it showed. I know 2 plays for sure that he had good run lanes that he could have got 8 or 9 yards, and he was hesitant. And then you saw him be a little more aggressive in the second half, but I think that was partially because Ito, he saw Ito was
Ito was showing him up, yeah.
Ito was showing him up, so he was like, "Oh, wait a minute now! Like, I can't lose my place here." So, I like I said, I still think he can be a solid complimentary back. But this past Sunday, I wanted to see some more from him.
Yeah, I agree.
If I can just mention I just wanted to provide when he starts games, he started 3 according to Pro Football Reference, and he had 15 for 30, he had 9 for 14, and then this past Sunday, 13 for 55. So, I mean, this was technically his best game that he started, and it was pretty blah. Like, it was okay.
Yeah.
It's
against the Carolina Panthers in 2019, November 17, 2019, he had 15 carries for 30 yards. So,
Yeah,
That's not great.
that's right. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, of course, this is his best game. It's not a high bar. The other two are trash.
Right.
Like 15 for 30. Like,
Was
come
that
on.
Yeah.
the game that Olamide had that
Well, the
night?
other one was 9 for 14. That was actually worse. So.
Yeah. He just. I mean, look, Dirk Cutter's not going to make any running back look good. Like he does. Like Todd Gurley looks pretty mediocre under Dirk Cutter. So like that is part of it. At the same time, like I just don't really think that Hill brings you a lot. Like if he's willing to come back for like vet minimum, sure, but like I just feel like, you know, I wouldn't really make him a key part of my plans in 2021. Like I would say that, you know, Ito Smith is probably going to be a guy I want as my number 2. Quadriolison maybe can be my number 3 in short yardage guy, and then I'm drafting someone like probably early day 3, maybe late day 2.
Do y'all think y'all could get 14 yards on 9 carries in an NFL game?
Yes.
Yeah.
It depends on who my offensive line is. My offensive line is like that Colts line, then yeah, probably.
Yes.
I'll just go right behind Quentin Nelson.
Yeah, I'm trying to like. I'm pretty sure I could get at least 14 yards on 9 carries.
I'm not going to be that guy that sits on the couch and says, "Man, I can get a 100-yard game in today." Hell no, I'm not going to be able to do that. 14 yards. You give me 9 tries to get 14 yards.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a lot. That reminds me of that one dude who tweeted out, "Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure, or I can definitely luck into a home run in like a professional MLB game." Like nobody's.
No. You could not.
That'd be like getting 150 yards or something.
Yeah, like those pitchers are throwing like 95-yard cutters and like those power curveballs, and you're just gonna luck into a home run.
Just hold your bat out enough times. Yeah.
Bro, man probably couldn't get the ball into the outfield.
No, man. Stop it.
Stop. Yeah, no, it's stupid. It's not going to happen.
But yeah, I think, honestly, this is just based on what the team has and what I believe the team will look like next year. I think the draft is going to be a good place for them to get a few back. I do believe that the team is going to move on from Gurley at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And I think this is a draft where they can have some capital where they can afford to take a lead back. Now, in the first round, not saying go Travis Etienne in the first round, but I think in round 2 or 3, you may look at a guy like Najee Harris. You may look at a guy like Chuba Hubbard out of Oklahoma State. You know, a couple of those guys, you know, kind of come off the board to me. Keem Boyd out of Arkansas is another one that comes to mind as well. But I think going forward, Hill at best is the number 2.
Yeah, I don't really see it. Like if it's Bieniemy, I think he's gonna bring in one of these like tangential Chiefs guys, like Darrell Williams or Damian Williams, or one of these guys that's probably gonna get cut.
I think Matt Breida would be a good
if he's free agent
for a guy under Bieniemy's.
Yeah. But like if Arthur Smith comes, like
we're trading for Derrick Henry.
Yeah. Well, I don't even think it's that. It's like Najee Harris. He would be perfect. Like I think Arthur Smith would absolutely be interested in taking Harris, like with that second rounder. Which would be like a top 10 pick in the second round. And like that's not necessarily ideal to spend that high of a pick on a running back, but like we've seen how good Arthur Smith's offense can be with that type of running back, and like Harris isn't quite as like freakish as Derrick Henry, but he's a much better receiver. I think like he's got some really really good hands. I
want this offense to have a closer at running back, man. Like it's you're defending Ridley and Julio and Hayden Hurst so much in the first, second, and third quarter. I just want that running back in the fourth quarter. So okay, it's my time. Give me 10.
Harris just gonna like dom kids in the fourth quarter, man.
Yeah, but who are we? Who's gonna be our running back after we promote Dirk Cutter to head coach?
Yes. We're gonna go get Quiz out of retirement, right?
Yeah. I'm not gonna give a damn. I'm going to write for somebody else. No.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. No, but yeah. I mean, I do think that like if we get an offensive head coach in here, we're gonna have a new lead running back. I really don't see them bringing back Gurley unless Gurley's willing to take like nothing, and I don't think that's gonna be the case. So It would be interesting. It'd be interesting, but
Would you guys offer him a 1 year deal if he's willing to come back next year? Would you guys do it?
I
Would you guys
mean,
bring?
1 year for what? Or how much? Like the same sort of
Yeah,
thing?
the same 5-6 million.
no,
If Gurley was offering that, if he wanted to, would you guys do it?
no.
Okay, Evan.
I think I would. I mean, I haven't really looked so much at the salary cap, but I don't think he's been terrible. I think it's just how he's been used. Like if he has an offensive coordinator who knows how to run the ball, I think he's at least good.
Yeah.
And when he's around the goal line, I think that kind of shows it where it doesn't really matter as much what Dirk Cutter does. It's kind of where the offense is so talented, it kind of succeeds on its own. But
the guy has a nose like a dog sniffing drug at the airport.
I mean, he scored
For
on
the end zone.
accident. That's how the problem he has with trying to score.
He can't
at the
resist
end zone.
the end zone. It's like a magnetic
He
pull.
lost because he scored.
Yeah, he's
It's
like
crazy.
too good in the red zone. Like he
Hey,
just
that
can't.
touchdown could be the difference between $500,000 in incentives at the end of the year.
It could be. Go get your money. He's protecting the tank. Okay, I respect.
Would you bring him back, Edmund?
For how much?
1 year, 5-6 million. Same salary as this year.
5-6 million. I don't think so. I'd rather go in and draft a running back
Okay.
and pair him with a head coach,
Okay.
just because it's. Excuse me. I'm completely against paying big money, and it's not big money, but I don't like paying running backs. Just in general, I'm completely off on the idea that after seeing the past few years. It's just such a short shelf life of the position, even if it is a 1 year deal. Like Gurley's knees have held up this year, but I mean, who knows moving forward?
Yeah, and like for me, it's basically like that is probably the decision between Gurley and Keanu Neal because the cap could be extremely tight, and yeah, I mean to me it's a no-brainer. Like I think you take a Neal over Gurley in that situation.
I would definitely re-sign him next year. I think Keanu has proven himself enough that he's back. He's to his normal self.
Right.
So they want to now. I would be a little tentative as far as giving a long-term deal. I think it would be more 2 or 3 year deal. But I think I would bring it back. Me personally.
What, Neal? Or Gurley? Yeah. Like I would love to get Neal on like a 3 year. Like if he would be willing to sign for like 3 years, $6 million per, and then we could get that first year cap hit down pretty low to fit it. Like I would do that for sure. Like I think like you can't like if they don't re-sign Neal and they cut Allen, which is probably what they're gonna do. Like you have to replace both of your safeties because you can't necessarily depend on. Well, KZ's a free agent too, so like you can't get rid of both your safeties. It's just not a good idea. And I think I'd rather have Neal than Allen at this point.
Absolutely.
Oh, Neal looks like he's like getting back. Like he looks like pre-injury Keanu Neal right now.
Yeah.
He's smacking folks, man.
He looks good, man.
I went back. All right, so like one day I was randomly watching like biggest hits of the season so far, and Keanu had about 4 or 5 hits on it, man. The one in Dallas against Noah Brown, the one against Mike Davis, and then of course the one he had against Renfro the other day to stop a 3rd down play. Like and remember the game against Denver where KJ Hamler alligator arm passed because Keanu was there. He's back, man. He may not be. I think he's starting. Not only is he back, but I think he's starting to fit that role where they're playing him closer to the line of scrimmage, and we all felt like that's where he belongs instead of on the back end. If you remember in the Dallas game, they took advantage of him playing a lot of coverage on the back end, but I think he's starting to fit in a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage, and he's dumping folks, man.
Yeah, I'm into it. So yeah, that would be my priority. Would be re-signing Neal over anyone else, and that might be the extent of their cap space. Like that literally might be it. So,
For some reason, when you mentioned salary cap, it reminded me of a few years ago, or a couple of years ago, when Dan Quinn and Thomas Dimitrov got contract extensions, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's why they don't want to pay Julio Jones. They're using the money for themselves."
Yeah. Oh man. Oh yeah, you're right. Oh that was galaxy brain take right there. Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, I mean that's stupid.
And they're doing it in plain sight too.
How dare they? Yeah, I mean, yeah. To me, like running back is just such a low priority. Like if the cap goes like if the cap stays flat, which I think is the hope, because if it goes negative, like it's gonna be a nightmare for everyone. I don't think the NFL is going to let that happen, but it could happen. So I'm just going to work under the assumption that it's a flat cap, and the Falcons, are working with, basically like no cap space to start, but they can free up, maybe 10, 20 million by making some cuts. So in that scenario, like I think they have like 30 something players under contract. So like they need a lot of that just to sign, enough players. But the rest of it, I think Keanu is going to get a big portion of it. But then other than that, like I don't know. So
I think fans are worried a little bit about the potential cap issue next year. And while it looks ugly from afar, it can be managed. But it's going to take a lot of restructuring to a lot of vets. And the thing is, I think this roster has the type of vets that I think would be willing to restructure for their team.
Yeah.
They don't have guys that are just, I want my money now. Like I think Jake Matthews will be willing to restructure. I think Matt Ryan will be willing to restructure. They're going to have to in order to have a serviceable team next year, to be honest with
you. Yeah. I mean, honestly, like players like restructures because it usually gives them more guaranteed money later in their contract. Like it usually converts base into signing bonus, which gives them, which it doesn't necessarily like give them more money in terms of value of the contract. But what it does do is gives them more money immediately, which everybody likes. And also that money gets spread out over the length of the contract, which makes them harder to cut later. So there's really like no reason players wouldn't agree to a restructure. Like it's not, that's why you never really see like, oh, we have to negotiate. Like the player's generally going to be happy restructuring their contract. It just like, you have to be careful because if you do too much, like, they could try to restructure like Julio, or something like that. But that could make him very, very, very hard to cut later if he like falls off a cliff or something, which nobody wants to talk about. But like they have to be careful with that. Jake Matthews is pretty safe restructure because we know he's not going anywhere. Grady Jarrett, super safe restructure. He's not going anywhere. But, yeah, I mean, these types of players, it's likely that we're going to need some restructures and some cuts, and we're going to have to go from there. But, yeah, I mean, right now in 2021, what was the cap last year? I think it was like 198. This year it was like 198 million or something like that. Something like that. Maybe 201 million, something like that. But like, so the Falcons would be, I think, like they'd be negative 2 million if the cap stays the same right now. And they currently have a little over 2 million in space. So with rollover, they'd be about zero overall. They could easily free up money with Ricardo Allen's cut. That doesn't even have to be post-June 1st. Like they could cut him immediately and save over $6 million on his deal, which is why he's probably a casualty because they desperately need that money. They could cut James Carpenter for $4 million, Alan Bailey for $4.5 million. You do those three, and you're up to $14 million or so in cap space. Things start to.
This is the first time I've heard Alan Bailey's name all year.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought that was a no. This is the same. They would have saved $4.5 million this year if they'd cut him this year, but they gave him an extension instead, and just pushed him to next year, which is stupid. Like I don't even know why this guy's on the team. Like we saw what he did last year, and it was all of nothing. So, but they gave him another extension for $4.5 million. So whatever. But yeah, I mean after those three cuts, like those three cuts will give you a pretty good amount of money. After those cuts, you're not really getting much back anywhere else. Like I guess you could save like $1 million by moving on from Isaiah Oliver, but they're probably not going to do that because it's probably not worth it. And then it's just like slim pickings. And like if after you make the 3 cuts that I mentioned, which is Ricardo, Carpenter, and Bailey, you're down to 29 players under contract. So you have, $14 million to get like 30 players. So therein lies the problem.
The extra draft picks help with that one.
Yeah. The draft will probably cost them, like $8 million or so. So they'll have another $8 million or so. And then, they can restructure and free up some more if they need it, which they will. But like they can make it work if the cap stays flat. They could probably sign like one player to like a good contract. Like Keanu Neal is probably the priority there, but like I don't think they can afford like a Gurley too. So they're gonna be like bargain basement shopping for vets to kind of fill out this roster. And there are some options that will be cheap, obviously. Like maybe Charles Harris won't cost much to bring back. Bleedy Ray Wilson should be cheap. Justin McCray, for offensive line depth. Like there's a lot of guys they can re-sign for not very much money.
And don't worry, guys. We'll have Dante Fowler on $18 million next year too.
Yeah,
Jesus.
they can actually save like a little bit of money by cutting him, but like it's like $13 million in dead cap. It's so stupid. So I'm just praying that another coach can do a better job than can do a better job with them than the Falcons have, because it's real bad.
Yeah,
It's
they
real bad.
backloaded that deal. It
Yeah.
goes from 6 to 18.
Yep, and also like I still don't understand the cut of Desmond Trufant. I still don't understand that, because he's still on the hook for like $6 million next year. Like if you wanted to get rid of him so bad, you should have traded him last year when he was playing well. So, but we've litigated this many times, and it never changes. They made stupid decisions in 2019. It hurts them this year and next year. But yeah, it's possible to re-sign some guys. I think Neal is more important than Gurley at this point. Let's keep going on this Raiders game. So we talked about the offense a little bit. We talked about Ito Smith being better. We did lose James Carpenter to injury. It sounds like that's going to be a relative. Did he go on IR? I can't remember.
I'm not sure.
I don't think he went on IR, but I don't think he's playing this week.
Yeah.
Groin injury, right?
Yeah, I think so. So
I didn't see anything about IR for him.
no, I think it was. Yeah, he was carted off the field, so I guess I assumed it was a big.
If he's not on IR yet, then
He's probably.
we should assume he'll be back in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, within the
3
next
weeks.
2 or 3 weeks. Yeah, so like it's either going to be Justin McCray or Matt Hennessy at left guard. So we'll see what that does to the offense this coming week.
This is not the week.
Yeah, this is not the week for that. So that's unfortunate. So I mean, but like we lost Alameda Zacchaeus too. That's not great. I mean, they weren't exactly using him well, but it's still rough.
And well, here's the hope. Even though they were limited today, here's the hope that Julio returns.
Yeah, that could help a lot.
Definitely. And I'm not really putting a whole lot into him being limited. The fact that he was on the practice field was a good thing. At this point, again, do we really need Julio practicing? Like, if he's going to play Sunday, it's fine. But if they want to just have him not practice all week and then suit up on Sunday, I'm fine with that too. Like, I don't need to see Julio out there practicing. If Julio shows up to practice and say, "I'm good," then damn it, he's good. Let him play. So,
Yeah.
I think that's where we're heading, in that direction, where he's pretty much going to be limited all week. But I think he'll start on Sunday.
Yeah, the big one for the Saints is Janoris Jenkins missed practice today.
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
Lattimore still on IR, right?
But
Not that
Is
that mattered
Lattimore
at all
on
last time.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
Didn't matter. They still shut down the offense. But yeah.
But
it
offense, not the Saints defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who's lining up a corner if the Saints are getting 9 sacks.
Oh man. Yeah, well, we can't let that happen, obviously. But, yeah, I mean, Nico in the chat brings up a good point. NDY also, Youngwei Koo stand out from the Raiders game. That's another player the Falcons have to re-sign next year. He's not going to be like exorbitantly expensive because kickers just don't make that much money. But that's another person they have to fit under the cap. But it's nice to know you have a quality kicker finally. It didn't take that long.
We shouldn't be complaining about kickers.
Yeah, we should.
You can legitimately say he was, the best player on the field for 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
That guy, he showed up, man. I think he's only two field goals all year missed.
Yeah.
One. He's 29 of 30. He leads the league in field goal makes.
Wow.
He does have, I think, 2 or 3 extra point misses.
How many has he cracked over 50?
6.
Wow.
Man.
Impressive.
That helps. That helps.
That helps, yeah.
That helps the offense a lot that can get stagnant a little bit.
And I think, I'm not positive, but I think his only missed field goal was against the Bears, where he had that groin injury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Bears, and he missed an extra point in that one.
Yeah. Yeah. That was
he was just protecting the tank. Shout out to Koo. Yeah.
But
he knows.
But yeah, his with given the fact that this offense has trouble scoring at times, man, he has been an ace in the hole all year. He was definitely the only scoring option for the team against the Saints in the first go around, and then this week, he pretty much got him started. Again, this guy he's shown up, man. He really has. He's been cut twice or once in his career?
Twice by the Chargers and the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
The Patriots cut him?
Yeah, I think he was in a training camp battle, and some guy that I've never heard of beat him up.
Wow.
Who ended up losing to Gronkowski anyway?
That's right, yeah.
They figured for the past 15 years or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's rough.
But yeah, so this past week, man, it was an interesting showing. I think, of course, the big takeaway from this past week, of course, was the defense. But I think the broader picture with this defense is it's amazing how different they are without Dan Quinn on the sideline. Like it's you can't help but see it. It's not little things here and there. Like this defense is significantly different. They're faster. They're better tacklers. They're a little sounder with communication on the back end. It's like night and day almost, man.
Yeah, I mean, I've been pretty impressed with Morris. I mean, part of me is like, I don't want to get too excited because it seems like the Falcons do this every single year now. Like, they suck and they're the worst in the league over the first 8 games, and then all of a sudden they become competent over the last 7. But the defense is playing better. I mean, this was their best performance. They didn't even play that badly against the Saints, honestly. I mean, it wasn't great, but it was better than I usually would expect from them based on what we've seen, previously in the season. So we've seen some nice play, some players really step up, like Jacob Twady-Mariner. If you had him as our best pass rusher on your bingo card, you should play the lottery or something, because I had no idea. I mean, this guy's just been kind of a UDFA practice squad guy, and then he looks like superhuman against the Raiders. I mean, he looked like our best edge guy. Put Dante Fowler's $16 million to shame. So that was nice to see. We got to see Marlon Davidson finally, and I think he played pretty well. He had that one forced fumble that should have been a fumble. They called it back, but it was a forced fumble. I give it to him.
It should have been 6 turnovers.
Yeah. So it was nice to see, him, if he can play really well, that takes if he can play well enough so that the Falcons feel like they don't need to invest another pick at defensive tackle, that's a big deal. That frees up, draft capital for other spots. I
don't think that they should be either way, even if Davidson doesn't show out we haven't seen enough of him. I think to the point where I don't think you should be spending a pick, especially a premium pick, on a
Yeah.
defensive tackle next year.
No.
Yeah.
Like Davidson was a second rounder, and you haven't seen like at all what like any of what you could have seen from him because of the unfortunate timing of his injuries. And he went on the COVID list for a couple of weeks. So I mean, Davidson next year it'll be like an extra second rounder
Yeah.
that you have. I mean, this defense has more holes, or this entire roster has more holes than defensive tackle.
Yeah. Like if any, I mean, like I don't like they don't really need to draft a defensive tackle unless like Marlon Davidson didn't do anything. Like because I mean they still have like Tyler Davison under contract, and like that's the only spot maybe you'd think about investing a pick for the future. Like if you're not going to re-sign Tyler Davison, and like I don't know. I mean Tyler Davison's under contract till what, like 2022 at least. So like your nose tackle's here for a while. You don't need a run stopper. You've got Grady Jarrett also. You've got Marlon Davidson. You've got John Kaminsky who plays inside. So like you're pretty much set at defensive tackle, assuming Davidson is good. And I think he's gonna show us over the rest of the season that he is good enough that you don't need to invest more there, because there's like Adnan said, there's a lot of other needs out there that they need to go after before defensive tackle.
Right.
But yeah, I think. On the topic of Koo, I did want to make it clear that like Koo is technically a free agent next year, but he's an exclusive rights free agent, so they can re-sign him for $660,000 or something like that, and he cannot negotiate with any other teams. So for next year, Koo is very cheap.
I'm not gonna lie, the Players Association in the NFL is so weak.
Yeah, because he wasn't like basically the equivalent. Yeah, if you're a UDFA, the team that signs you, like if you get cut after signing your UDFA contract, I believe the teams that pick you up over the next 4 years you can re-sign you as an ERFA. So like it's rough if you get cut after that, signing that UDFA contract. So it's nice for the Falcons in that they can re-sign him for basically vet minimum next year. But like Koo doesn't really have anything to worry about because they're going to give him a long-term deal probably after next year. It's just like next year is very tight cap-wise, so he's going to have to wait a year. But, I don't think he's going to lose too much sleep over because he's going to be the kicker long-term here in Atlanta, assuming nothing, crazy happens, like he starts missing kicks all the time or something. So
like Giorgio Tavecchio.
Right, yeah, but unlike Giorgio, Koo's now done it over like 2 seasons, so we should be safe there. But who knows? The curse of Tavecchio could return at any moment. So, I just wanted to get that in there because I know people were talking about Koo. But another player to mention on the defense, like AJ Terrell, I thought played really well. Like he had that one big play given up early in the game to Henry Ruggs. And honestly, the coverage was fine. Like he didn't time his jump like perfectly, but he was right there on him on like a deep route. And Ruggs he has elite 4.2 speed. Like so for Terrell to be able to keep pace with him downfield, that's really a good sign. And Terrell's not as fast as Ruggs, so that means that Terrell was playing with the proper positioning and technique to be able to stay with Ruggs and not get blown by. So I've been really impressed with Terrell. I think he gives you, like, at least, at worst, a cornerback 2 going forward. Probably more like a cornerback 1. So, like, you're not in totally dire straits at corner. I mean, I think it would be nice if Trufant was still here. Like, the defense would probably be a lot better if Trufant was still here. Because then, instead of having Isaiah Oliver opposite AJ Terrell, you'd have Desmond Trufant, who hasn't been having like a great season in Detroit, but Matt Patricia's awful, so I blame Patricia for that. So.
They're in a funky situation at corner next year.
Yeah,
because I mean we all know AJ is probably going to be the cornerback 1, but that's that opposite spot of that cornerback spot opposite of him, man. It's up in the air.
Yeah,
I mean Sheffield has been inconsistent this year.
Kendall Sheffield has been terrible this year.
That was maybe a little generous. I don't know. He's been pretty bad.
I was putting it nice.
He's been hard. He's been hurt. I mean, that's part of it.
Isaiah Oliver had a horrible start to the year, but he's played a little better with less snaps and him playing in the slot. And Denard is a natural slot. So they're in a situation where, they could go at the corner early in the draft again. But you're going to create a logjam opposite of Terrell.
I mean,
and these guys are, these guys are kind of, they're in the picture for the next couple of years at least. So it's what do you do?
Right. Yeah. Like,
just hope, yeah.
I mean, I like Denard. Like, if Denard's willing to come back for cheap again, like I would sign Denard again. But
I want him to slot.
He needs to play the slot. Like, I can't believe they're like making him play outside because Oliver's terrible. Like, I just like put Denard. I mean, Denard's, I guess, been playing better on the outside than Oliver ever did, but like, it's just it's not a good situation when you're forcing the guy you signed to play slot to play on the outside. Like,
man, I'm sorry for cutting you off. I was just gonna say I wish that at least one of those pass rushers from the past few years would have worked out.
That would have been nice.
Because now going into this draft, linebacker we're fine at.
Oh yeah,
Michael
linebacker
Walker
totally
is
fine.
killing it. Boye Oluokun is killing it. Like, linebacker is. We have a really, really solid linebacking core. One of the best young linebacking trios in the NFL. We have to address safety.
Mm-hmm.
Even if we bring back Keanu, you still have to address safety, the free safety position, and that's if you bring Keanu back. And if not, then safety is even more paramount. Defensive tackle we talked about. We don't need to spend anything premium on that, but then you really need that pass rusher too.
Edge
we
and
have not
corner.
been able to.
Yeah, edge, safety, corner, probably, to me are like the three big ones. Defensive tackle's fine, like you said. Linebacker's fine, like you said. So
yeah, and then you still have, possibly you got to address running back. Maybe left guard, depending on what the new coaching staff thinks of Hennessy.
Hennessy's got to play center. Hennessy's going to play center.
Yeah. I forgot about Matt.
Alex
We're not bringing back Max. So Hennessy, you definitely have to address left guard.
Yeah, that's definitely a priority.
Yeah, and that's a nice, I guess, that is a nice segue into kind of just talking more about the draft and 2021 in general before we get into the Saints game. But before we move on, I just wanted to ask you guys, do you have any final thoughts on that Raiders game? I know the three of us talked about it a lot on the post-game show, but
I just find it, again, I might have said it Sunday after the game, but I still kind of chuckle a little bit at Bruce's comment about them being the best 3-7 team he's ever seen, and then he goes out and lose by 37. But hey, that was a backhanded compliment.
He thought he was throwing shade, and then he ended up being right. Yeah.
Yeah, and then ironically, you end up losing by 37. It's just funny how football plays out sometimes.
Yeah, it was a big loss for the Raiders too.
Oh yeah, they really
are
needed
in that playoff hunt right now.
That was an ugly loss.
They got smacked. That wasn't just a loss. That was the biggest loss they've had in 5 years or something.
Yeah, I mean, and this is a team that I still think highly of. I still think they're a good team. I still think they can be a wild card team this year. But at this point in the season, for them to go out and lose by 37 to a 3-win Falcons team, without Julio, without Todd Gurley, and with no pass rush whatsoever, basically.
Jacob Tuohy Mariner.
Hey, shout out to my man Jacob Tuohy Mariner. Okay, Mans is bringing it.
Yeah, that's our best pass rusher right now.
Do not slander him. Yes.
Lord, we're in trouble.
We are in trouble. Yeah.
I think he had more sacks in this game than what Fowler's had all year.
I think so.
He did. He did.
Yep. Yeah. But I mean, I agree. This was a great game for the Falcons. They just need to do it more often before I get too excited about it. Because people were really right. Do it against the Saints, for God's sake. That would have been 100 times better if they had pooped on the Saints in that manner. Instead, you do it against the Raiders, and it's that's nice to see. But honestly, do it against the Saints, please. You didn't get up at all for the Saints game, and then you come out here and just crap on the Raiders. I don't understand this team.
Yeah, do it against Taysom Hill, you cowards.
Yeah. The defensive game plan was totally different.
Yeah.
with Taysom Hill and then against a guy like Derek Carr. Like,
Right.
I'm telling you, like every coaching staff that we have, they always coach scared against the Saints.
Yep.
I don't
The
get
one
it.
time it didn't happen was last year in that first meeting where they just went after them,
Yeah.
and that it worked out. But other than that, it's like they're terrified of Sean Payton and the Saints, as if they're
Right.
like the '85 Bears.
I don't get it. What was Taysom Hill's numbers this past week against Denver?
78 yards, an interception. He had 2 rushing touchdowns.
Why are you not blitzing? Why are you not blitzing him? He's
terrible.
if he beats you with his arm, then so be it.
Yep.
Why are you not blitzing him? Come on, man.
Come on.
You guys are making it so complicated.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I'm telling you, they're just scared of the Saints for some reason.
They are.
Like they're just scared of Sean Payton.
He's the Baba Yaga to them, you know.
I'm sorry, man. I don't care. I'm blitzing everybody. Like the play when they look at the sideline for the play call, it's going to be blitz. Like that's it. I'm just
blitz no matter what.
Yeah, God, that was a hell of a game. 92 total passing yards in that game. You don't see that in 2020 in
No,
the
you
NFL.
don't. Yeah.
You're sitting back on him. Like come on, man. Like, he's not going to kill you through the air. So just throw defenders at him. I don't get it, man. I really don't.
Yeah. Well, what is it like the Broncos with like no quarterback scored almost as many points?
Kendall Hinton.
Yeah, they scored almost as many points in that game as the Falcons did with like their full team.
Yeah,
So-
they got 3.
The Falcons got 6, right?
9.
Oh, 9. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
James Crew now, okay?
Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
Koo. I apologize.
Yeah, they got 3 off. Their defense picked Hill off on the New Orleans 40-yard line. And then they ended up getting 1 yard on 3 plays, and then McManus hit like a 58-yarder for their only points. And other than that, they didn't get to midfield the entire game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they should have done. They should have done something more creative than what they did, obviously. But they didn't have time to practice it.
You mean like looking at an assistant coach to play quarterback? That's how creative they were going to be.
Right. I mean, none of your wide receivers ever played quarterback. Like
they were. No, they did. Kendall Hill.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, at Wake Forest.
He was their receiver that played
They
quarterback.
should have traded for Mohamed Sanu, man. They would have lit up the Saints.
Yeah, I mean, God, that's one of those games where you just throw everything out the window if you're the Broncos offense.
Yeah.
Like their hands were so tied.
They had no choice. That was the NFL really did them dirty.
Meanwhile, the NFL is like bending over backwards to cater to the Ravens who have like a full outbreak.
Yep.
And with the Broncos, it's like, oh, that's too bad.
Nah.
Play anymore.
The show must go on.
It's not about the team. It's more about the matchup. That is a money matchup. Right?
Yeah, that is a money matchup. Yeah. Wednesday afternoon money match.
That was such a weird time. Oh my goodness.
We were watching.
Yeah.
I know I was.
I got nothing better to do on Wednesday afternoon.
But you can't compete with the Christmas tree lighting.
Right. Yeah. And look, guys, they couldn't compete with us. They would have had to go up against us at 8-10.
Yeah,
so,
of course.
Yeah. So they got to watch out. Back off our turf, NFL. So.
Yeah, we're huge in Pittsburgh and Baltimore.
Oh yeah, we get at least one viewer a week from there. No, but it's a crazy situation. But let's get into some of that draft and free agency talk we were going on about. Before we get that, guys, just want to remind you, if you don't mind, throw a like at the video. It helps other people on YouTube find it. And if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button to get those sweet notifications when we go live. And like I said earlier in the show, our Patreon page is now live. I know some people are asking about it, so that's open. And our Discord is also now live. So hop in there. We can start, talking about football in between the show. You guys can, hang out and do community stuff, and we'll get that obviously rolling a little bit more as the season goes on. But just wanted to let you guys know that stuff is up and running finally. So. We were talking about biggest needs. We mentioned edge. We mentioned corner. We mentioned safety. How about on the offensive side of the ball? Do you guys? I know we were talking about left guard. Are there any other running back? Any other spots really? Quarterback. Yeah, and it's not because we hate Matt Ryan. I think some people think Adnan hates Matt Ryan. I don't know where that came from.
I have no idea where that came from.
I don't know where that came from. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm just gonna start calling you the Matt Ryan hater now. So Matt Ryan hater, why do you want them to draft a quarterback?
Yeah. Well, let's see. The noodle arm for one.
Yeah, noodle
For
arm
two,
Ryan. Yeah.
yeah. For two, this team should have never moved on from Vic. I'm kidding. Um, no, I have no idea how I got that reputation.
Yeah.
I've defended Matt Ryan for years, but now it's like, oh, we have a top 5 pick, and I'm calling for us to possibly get a quarterback of the future, and now I'm the bad guy. Um, no, it's I think it depends on the coaching staff. Like I've been saying it, if Bieniemy comes in and he falls in love with Trey Lance, then you take Trey Lance with your first round pick. That's up to the next head coach because uh, a rookie quarterback does not have to start. Mahomes didn't start from year one. Um, so it's like no, you can't expect like a quarterback to come in and to just like light everything up like the way Justin Herbert is right now. That
Right.
doesn't really happen.
Like Matt
So
Ryan.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
so it's like it depends on the coaching staff. I'm fine either way. If they decide, oh yeah, like we're gonna spend our first rounder on a corner, a CB, or or an edge rusher or something like that, I'm fine with that too. But I'm leaving that in the hands of the next coaching staff. That's in the next front office, the next general manager. It's going to be their job. It's going to be what they sign up for. So whatever they decide to do, I'll be in favor of.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I'm down with taking a quarterback in the top 10. Like, as long as it's not Kyle Trask. Like, I know Kyle Trask has a lot of supporters. I mean, I really dug into the QBs this week. And, like, I think Trask can be an NFL starter. I think he can be, like, closer to, he could be in that, like, 10 to 15 range, I think. And he can be, like, maybe better if he has the right system around him. But, like, I don't think that's the type of player you go after if you're the Falcons who already have Matt Ryan. Like, I think you either swing for the fences with somebody who has the potential to be, like, an elite quarterback, or you just stick with Ryan until you are in position to get one of those players later.
JT Daniels, baby.
Go
Dogs.
Hell yeah. Sick 'em dogs. Yeah. No, I mean, but, like, I agree. Like, I think Trey Lance would be great because he'll have time to develop. Zach Wilson may be the most likely option if the Falcons aren't willing to trade up. Zach Wilson generally falls to 10 in most mock drafts. So I like Zach Wilson. He's not quite the, like, dual threat that guys like Justin Fields and Trey Lance are, but he's athletic enough, certainly. I mean, he has 8 rushing touchdowns this year. He's really good as, like, a West Coast style quarterback who can roll out, who can do some stuff with his legs, but is more of a passer. So I think he's somebody the Falcons should definitely look into. But yeah, I mean, Trey Lance would be great. Obviously, Justin Fields would be fantastic, but without some sort of, like, massive trade up, Justin Fields is not going to happen. Like, he's probably going to go number 2 to the Jaguars or to the, I guess, Jets if they flip flop. But there's an outside chance the Falcons could pull off some sort of, like, miraculous trade to get up there, but they shouldn't. Like, they shouldn't give up enough resources to make that happen. So in that case, it's probably hoping that one of Trey Lance or Zach Wilson falls to you if they're trying to go after a quarterback. But assuming that doesn't work out, I think we've talked a lot about edge guys like Gregory Rousseau from Miami, Kwity Paye from Michigan, cornerbacks. Everyone knows Patrick Surtain. Caleb Farley from Virginia Tech is another one that could be an option at 10. And then in terms of safeties, there's no, like, Isaiah Simmons, Derwin James type safeties that you would really take at 10. So that's probably more of a second round need. But yeah, I mean, I guess at this point, let's say, like, a quarterback that we want isn't there. So should we go corner or edge if we're going defense at that spot? And you can say which of those 4 prospects you want. Just assume all of them are available. They won't all be available, but assume all of them are available. Which one would you want at 10?
Out of who? Out of
Rousseau, Paye, Farley, Surtain.
at 10.
Yeah, that's where they're picking right now. That's probably about where they'll be picking.
I'll probably take Russo just based on the potential. I mean, he really does have a ceiling where he can be the best player in this draft. And I don't think cornerback is a huge need, but it does need to be addressed at some point in the draft, in my opinion. Because I just don't like how things are turning out opposite AJ Terrell right now. But like Adnan pointed out earlier, man, like this pass rushing thing has been a thorn in their side for so long, and it's like, at what point are they going to fix this? They let go of 2 failed first rounders, and they got a guy in Fowler who's got one down. He's got as many kicks to the groin, as many sacks that he has this year. Like, it's just like, bro, we're paying you to tackle quarterbacks, not to
kick them in the nuts.
Yeah. But it's just like, this thing has been, they've been kicking this can for so long, man. It's been a hole for so long. So they need to get somebody needs to step up. So I'll take Russo.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, go ahead on.
I understand. I still wouldn't be against getting corner right away, just because ESPN's had their stats. The Falcons are apparently number 1 in the league in pass rush win rate, right
their
now.
Their pressure rate is actually top 10.
Their
it's kind of funny.
Pressure rate is insanely good. It's fantastic this season. But the secondary has been so bad that it hasn't mattered. The quarterback of the opposing team is just getting the ball out quickly to wide open receivers, and through those blown coverages, where if we had a decent second cornerback, Kevin was mentioning, if we had Desmond Trufant this year, then this defense could be so much better than it is right now, just because our secondary has been so weak and pathetic this season.
Yeah, I honestly could see it go either way. I think go ahead.
I will say, I think edge is, I'll take that back. I think corner is the deeper position in the draft.
Yes, I agree.
Why I wouldn't mind, if they take Surtain, I'm not going to be the guy saying, man, they should have made that pick. Patrick Surtain is going to be a hell of a corner. Farley has the potential. He still needs some experience. He converted to the position a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But I feel like in this draft, if they were to do it, I think a guy like Tyson Campbell out of Georgia would be a nice second round guy to go after. And I just think the corners are a deeper position. Edge, there's a drop off.
Yeah.
After that second round, that second tier guys, you're not going to get a guy that I believe can be a lead rusher later on down. But,
yeah, it's an interesting class because I think after Rousseau and Pay, I think it's a clear delineation after those two guys. Joseph Osai, I think, is good. He's kind of one of those hybrid players who can play linebacker too. So he's not your super traditional edge. And then who's the other guy I'm thinking? That's also in the first round conversation. He has kind of a similar name to Osai. Hold on, I'm gonna look. Possibly. I'm trying to remember the guys.
There's only 3 that I see getting first round talk right now.
Yeah.
Of course, you got that second tier, but a lot of the guys that are in that second tier group are guys that are so they're unproven. It's guys. Man, you hope that they reach their ceiling, Rashid.
He'd be my choice in the second round. Hamilcar Rashid, yeah.
But then the other issue is after we win out and make the playoffs, we'll be picking the early 20s this season. So
that's true.
So it'll be a lot harder.
I just can't even keep a straight face when we talk about this. But yeah, I mean,
I almost did it. I almost got through it.
I think it's basically the elite guys are Rousseau and Pay, and then I think there's a day 2 group where there's a fair number of guys that I like on day 2, Hamilcar Rashid, Aziz Ojolari. Patrick Jones, Carlos Basham. Those are all guys I think could be good day 2 picks. But yeah, I mean, I think after Rousseau and Pay, like it's a clear delineation. Like I think those guys are all potential like good number 2 pass rushers, like your Bradley Chubb type players. Somebody you want across from like a Von Miller.
Rousseau can be elite.
Yeah, Rousseau could be a true like elite guy.
He's getting a lot of Myles Garrett talk as far as ceiling goes. And as a guy that's a Hurricanes fan, I've watched plenty of them. So, but the thing is, he just doesn't have experience. He literally had like 14 games of college.
Yeah, but like he looks like he's molded from clay, man. He's absurd. Like his arms are so long. He looks like Gumby.
Right. He entered the program not even 220. And he literally put on 50 or 60 pounds in an offseason.
He's stupid, man. Like I don't understand how this person exists. I think he was made in a lab somewhere, but like I mean, like if I'm a new coaching staff coming in and I know I probably have like at least 2 years with Arthur Blank, before he's gonna fire me, like I think this is the type of time you take that sort of risk on like a super high ceiling player like Rousseau. Like you can afford maybe to take that risk. If they do that, it's clear then that they're like, okay, we're trying to win now with Matt Ryan. Like we're not going in like a new quarterback direction. But it's like also if it doesn't work out, like if Rousseau is slow to develop or just not, what you hope for, then you're probably picking high again, next year. So then you can get your quarterback then. So
2 years is an understatement. Like Arthur Blank didn't even want to pull the trigger on Dan Quinn, like firing right now. Like you have at least like 4 or 5 years with Arthur Blank.
I keep telling folks that I think this is a perfect year for the Falcons to take a quarterback, to take their next quarterback, whether it be in the top 10 or whether it's the first couple rounds, because they're going to have the draft capital. They're going to have roughly maybe 9 or 10 picks when you add the comp picks to the equation.
And somehow we got a 5th for Vic Beasley.
That's a miracle. Yeah, we got 2 5ths, man.
Yeah, Beasley and Devondre Camp.
Yep.
So you got those, maybe 9 or 10 picks, plus you have Matt Ryan under contract for another 2 seasons or so. So it gives you, whoever you take, if you take a guy like Trey Lance, it gives them 2 years to sit. It gives them a year to sit at least.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to do is bring on a new coach who drafts a rookie quarterback. We got a maybe a rookie head coach with a rookie quarterback, and those situations never really turn out.
Yeah.
In favor.
No.
And Matt Ryan has 4 years left on his deal, but you can feasibly get out of it in 2 years.
Yeah.
So you're like locked in for 2 years.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like you can get out of it in 2022, but it's not great.
It's $26 million in dead cap, 26 and a half.
Yeah, and like so 2022 is like basically you're hoping to trade him. If that's like that scenario would be like the Falcons play like extremely well next year. Like Bieniemy or Arthur Smith, someone comes in. The Falcons offense is like top 5. They're a playoff contender. They're really good. And then you've also got Trey Lance or Zach Wilson, and like that guy is so impressive in camp and whatever that the Falcons feel like they can move on. They can trade Matt Ryan to someone who wants him. I don't know, Kyle Shanahan maybe. And you recoup maybe like a second rounder, maybe even a first rounder for Ryan. I mean, if he plays super well, like maybe you could get a late first for him. But like,
opportunity to do it.
Yeah. So I mean that would be like the best case scenario basically. But there's a couple other questions we're going to get to as well. George Costanza with $5, our benefactor. Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, he says, sorry I'm late. Yeah, brother. We were wondering where you were. Yeah, it's like, oh, man, where's George? Yeah.
Is his name really George Costanza?
Well, that's his screen name. Yeah.
Like that's not his government name, is it? Like that's not.
I don't know. Maybe it is. George Costanza's mysterious. We don't ask questions about our benefactor. He's like the guy behind the scenes. He provides the money, we provide the takes, and that's the system that we have, and it works well for us. So, we don't ask too many questions of George. He's the one that asks the questions. So, but George says, "Sorry, I'm late. It's okay, George. No worries, brother."
Underlay Industries.
Yep. Falcons 37, Taints 17. Book it. All right, I'd be down with that. I'd be down.
Oh, I would love that.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
He said Falcons 37, Taints 17 is his pick.
37.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's a lot of faith in Dirk Cutter. That's a lot of faith.
We can talk about the offense. The defense should not be giving up more than 17 this week.
They should.
Like, they should not give up more than 17 in Taysom
How
Hill.
many field goals is Koo kicking in that 37?
It's at least 20. At least 24 of the 37 is Koo field goals. So, but yeah, he also says we should go top O lineman available if there isn't an elite edge rusher.
No.
That's my 2 cents. Okay.
No.
I mean, I think there's a scenario, like if you think Wyatt Davis is like a Quentin Nelson level player, and I'm not there, but I think Quentin Nelson is. I think Wyatt Davis is very good.
No.
Is he worth the 10th overall pick?
No.
Probably not. But like, I don't know, man. I wouldn't say that would be like the worst idea in the world, but like I don't think they need to get a guard somewhere. I mean, but I think you can get somebody maybe on day 2. Like you could get, like, guards just don't fly. Like I know people like Matt Hennessy was like the 3rd ranked interior offensive lineman or like the 4th ranked interior offensive lineman last year. And he didn't go until midway through the 3rd. Like interior offensive linemen just don't go early. So like you could get guys like Creed Humphrey even be like a 2nd rounder. Like you just don't know. Like you could get Creed Humphrey in here in the 2nd round. Josh Myers, Trey Smith. Like there are like guys you can get that are good on day 2.
God, if they pass on a pass rusher,
another guard in the top 15.
Or an elite corner or a goddamn guard, man, that's gonna piss me off, dude. Like seriously, we've done this already before. Like we passed on the pass rusher and Ryan Burns for Chris Lindstrom. I'll be damned if we do that again. Okay, you better not do that again.
Yeah. Like Lindstrom's been like good for us, but like I still don't know if he was the best value there. Like I still would I'd probably still rather have Brian Burns if we're being honest.
He has been. Don't get me wrong, but even with Lindstrom in the fold, we still can't get to the damn quarterback. I wonder why.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather have Brian Burns, Chris Lindstrom at whatever late in the draft we got, Caleb McGarry, and then Matt Gono at right tackle. That's what I'd rather have.
I don't think Lindstrom was making it.
He probably wasn't going to make it
like
there.
one.
But okay. Well, let's say we have Matt Gono at right guard. There you go. I'd probably rather have that.
Well, why not have Matt Gono at right guard and then get a guy like Cody Ford, let him play right tackle.
Yeah, I mean, I would have rather had Cody Ford. Why not? No offense to McGarry, he's been pretty much fine this year, but like
Cody Ford, he's been good as well. Like I mean, I don't know, man.
I don't know.
There's some positions I don't value. Like that is a premium position. Getting an edge rusher is a premium position. It's a passing league.
Yeah.
Like that, you can't continue to just look over that every year and just think you're gonna. Especially when you're playing in a conference that has damn Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray. Somebody got to get after the quarterback.
Yeah.
Chris Lindstrom is not going to do it.
But the best defense is a good offense.
No, it's not. Our best defense is the good defense.
I mean, like, I could see, like, let's say they get Bieniemy. Okay, this is just hypothetical. I agree with Eric. I would like to have Rousseau or a corner in the top 10 if they're not taking a quarterback. That's my like first and second and third choices. Quarterback, edge rusher, corner. Those are my 3 choices in order. But hypothetically, and this isn't about a guard, okay, so back off the guard thing. But I have done mock drafts on Draft Network where you have this nightmare scenario happens where Trevor Lawrence, goes number 1, Fields goes 2, and like Lance goes 3, and then Wilson goes in the top 10. And then you also see Surtain, Farley, Pay, and Rousseau all go in the top 10. It's like the nightmare scenario for the Falcons. What? Well, yeah, but there's no quarterbacks left. So who's trading up?
Doesn't have to be.
But who's trading up to 10 then?
Doesn't have to be.
Well, yeah, I get that, but like who are people trading up for?
So what? Okay, what's the draft order right now? I guarantee you I can name 3 teams that'll be willing.
I got it.
trade now? What's the draft order right now?
It is so obviously. Well, you want the teams after Atlanta. So Miami's
Yeah.
at 11. That's Houston's pick, but Miami is holding it. Denver 12, Chicago 13, Minnesota
There goes
14.
one. There goes
What?
one.
Which one?
Chicago
Who are they trading up for if there's no quarterbacks?
receiver.
Oh, okay. I mean, maybe.
Marquez. You don't
Well,
think they want?
that's what I was getting at. Is like, if you're the Falcons, and say we can't find a trade down partner, I would definitely trade down there if I could. But like, say you can't find a trade down partner.
What about the Redskins?
Well, they're at 8.
Okay.
Um,
Who's continuing with the teams afterwards?
So Chicago 13, Minnesota 14, New England 15, San Fran 16, Las Vegas 17. I mean, New England maybe for a receiver.
There's another one. New England right there. New
Yeah.
England for a quarterback.
Well, I'm saying, but all 4 of the guys, are they trading up for Kyle Trask? I mean, that would be pretty dumb.
They can trade up to above 10 to kick down maybe.
Right? Yes.
Yeah, I also don't think Chicago's trading up unless it's for a quarterback.
Right.
Like that team is just like that team. Like I think their fan base would riot if they traded up for a not quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I people aren't talking about it, but like, say a quarterback makes it to Atlanta and they don't, and they're considering not taking him. Like, the Falcons could get a bounty because Denver, Chicago, New England, San Francisco, all of those teams are probably wanting a quarterback. And if that's the last guy at the Falcons pick, like, that could be a crazy. The Falcons could get a ransom. They could get future firsts, all kinds of stuff. And that, to move down like 5 spots, would be a no-brainer, obviously, if they didn't want the quarterback. They might want the quarterback. But I guess my question is, like, those top 4 defensive players that we like are gone, and the quarterbacks are all gone. And for whatever reason, the Falcons can't get a deal done. New GM, Louis Riddick is, like, sweating it out, and they're trying to figure out where they go. So I guess where I am in that situation is you're looking at the top players on the board are all wide receivers, and then Kyle Pitts at tight end. I don't think they need to replace Hayden Hurst. I think Hayden Hurst is more than fine. So, like, even though Kyle Pitts is really good, like, I don't think they need to make that pick. I honestly would consider just taking Jamar Chase for several reasons. We know
10?
At 10. That's a good value. Okay. Like,
Yeah, but-
this is obvious.
but-
Like, this is not an ideal situation. Like we said, our top defensive guys are gone.
He'll kill AJ Terrell's confidence in practice.
No, like, hear me out. Okay, so this is a hypothetical where all of the defensive guys we want, those 4 guys are gone, the quarterbacks are gone, and we can't trade down. So it's a specific situation. But in that scenario, Jamar Chase is the best player available. And we've seen that Julio Jones is having trouble staying healthy. It might not extend to every season going forward, but Julio Jones is on the wrong side of 30. He's having trouble staying healthy. Jamar Chase comes in. So when all 3 receivers are healthy, the Falcons will have the best wide receiver group in the NFL. It's not close. And when Julio is hurt, then they have Jamar Chase and Calvin Ridley, and they're totally set at receiver now and for the future. If they have an offensive head coach, I would not be shocked at all if they go that route, because they're trying to set up this offense to be elite and carry the defense. I'm not saying that I would go out of my way to make this happen, but it's clearly the best value, and I think I'd rather have Chase than reaching for like Joseph Asai or reaching for like Sean Wade or Eric Stokes.
I wouldn't do it either, but that's why I'm trading down. Like,
well, I'm saying you can't make it work. Like, I'm saying you don't get an offer. Like, all the quarterback, like, nobody wants to trade up. Like, they don't think the Falcons have the balls to take Jamar Chase. They think he's going to be there after them. So, I'm just saying, like, if you can't trade down and Jamar Chase is the best player, I mean, maybe you prefer, like, Waddle or Smith. That's fine. But, like, I think Jamar Chase is the best one. So, like, could you get on board with that? Would it make sense to you? Obviously not your first, second, or third choice, but in that scenario, what do you think of that? Jamar Chase added at 10 in that sort of nightmare.
I would stop watching.
You would just log off. Well, you can't do that because you're contractually obligated to do the show with me, Eric.
Yeah, Dave has our contracts in blood.
Yes. So,
I honestly, Kevin, and you're my guy.
It's okay. It's okay.
I don't even want to imagine a scenario. The odds of something like that happening is just astronomical, and there's no way in hell they would take a receiver. I mean, somebody's going to trade up. Somebody's going to be
Probably because Jamar Chase is really good.
What if we trade up to 5 for Jamar Chase?
Well, that's the most galaxy brain strategy that I've ever seen.
Somebody's going to be willing to. The Browns have 5 picks in the top 100. They may be willing to trade up for
that would be a huge
in an off season where they part ways with OBJ. They may be willing to trade up for Jamar. I don't know. I'm just throwing scenarios out there.
Yeah, I mean,
willing to do it.
Yeah, it's obviously not ideal. I'm not trying to make it sound like it's ideal, but
the Jets have 2 first rounders.
Yeah,
they may be willing to give us a second and a third if you want. I don't know. I'm just saying, like.
Yeah, I would want to trade down first.
Absolutely.
But just like it only came up because I was doing a mock on Draft Network and like I don't have premium, so I can't trade. So it was like, oh crap, do I like reach on a side or somebody?
Pro Football Network.
Well, yeah.
Allows you to trade.
Yeah, I don't like theirs as much though. I like Draft Network
better. I don't like their overall listing of players because it's
it doesn't like Draft Network's like composite board is so good. Like
composite board is good. Like Pro Football Network has guys like in the 300s first round picks. Like what are you doing?
It's stupid. Like Draft Networks is a more robust product. Okay, I stand Draft Network. I love those guys.
For free on Pro Football Network. I've done it plenty of times. I do it literally every time.
I always just like make the trades like without actually trading. Like I'm like, okay, I'm trading this pick and this pick, and then I like select to pick for those other teams where I traded picks, and then I do it that way, and no one knows because I just write the article and say I did it. But some desperate measures for mock drafts, guys. They're coming.
In a situation like that, man, you're sitting at 10, and a comet is heading towards Earth, and they're sitting at 10 and. Jamar Chase is the best player on the board. Like I'm really hoping to God that comment hits before they make it.
Well, I don't know. I think
trading down would make the most sense.
Yes, of course. Yeah, I'm not arguing for taking Jamar like over a trade down. I'm just saying in some sort of nightmare where you can't trade down and their top guys are gone. Like I think the pick makes sense. I would. Like, remember a few years ago, we were like, oh, they're not taking Calvin Ridley. Come on, guys. Come on. And then they did, and it was a great pick. But, I think we still would have preferred a pass rusher. But,
Bar none, regardless where they pick in the first round, if it's not a quarterback, they have to walk away with an elite defender.
I think so. I mean, yeah.
And now, if it's corner, if it's possibly safety, if it's edge rusher, whatever.
Yeah.
If it's not a quarterback in the first round, it should not be an offensive player, period.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Well, we should probably talk a little bit about the Saints game before we get out of here. Yeah. I mean, we're just getting into the draft takes. Like, we got all off seasons. So we can't exhaust all the draft takes in one night.
More interesting than watching this team give up 300 yards.
There's going to be more draft takes. I know you guys crave the draft takes. We're going to have draft takes all off season. We're going to have draft takes constantly. So, yeah. I do want to answer some questions and read George Costanza's next donation. Another $5, brother. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate you, brother. So, George says, I always like to bring up this example. For O-line, Logan Mankins in 2005 was widely considered a huge reach and panned. Interior linemen are kind of a crapshoot. If you like one, you go get them. Linemen are worth collecting. Depth is crucial. We can win the Super Bowl next year. I assume he means if we have an elite offensive line. And I don't hate the idea of Wyatt Davis ending up on the Falcons this year, but it would have to be after a trade down. I don't think they can do it at 10.
No way. There's no way.
Yeah. It would have to be they would have to be trading down to 16 or later. And then maybe depending on how the board falls, I could get behind Wyatt Davis because at that point he would probably be a solid value. But
hey, if you want to know how razor thin the draft margins are, a win this weekend could take the Falcons down to 16.
Oh, God.
Ooh, that's spicy.
Technically. I mean, it's a lot of stuff would have to happen. The Bears would have to lose to the Lions, for example. The Jaguars would have to beat the Vikings.
Which they
but it's It's a definite possibility.
It could happen.
2020, bro. It's 2020.
Anything can happen. It's
But-
crazy out there. It's crazy.
But
out there.
we can focus on the tank after beating the Saints.
Now watch Sunday gets here, and Kirk Cousins throws 4 picks. Beat the Vikings, and then, and we're all looking at Adnan like, oh shit, it's really
You did this, Adnan. You did this.
Hey, down to 16 this weekend, then down to 19 next weekend.
Adrian Peterson runs for 200 yards on the Bears defense, and
Yep.
Lions win. Yeah.
We'll back into the playoffs this year.
Hell yeah. At least we can't be as bad as the Giants, who were picking like 5th and then won that game, and now they're picking like 20th because the NFC East.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
They get
man.
that sweet playoff.
That sweet first round exit, brother. Hell yeah. But yeah, I do want to answer. Tyler Russell asked if we're going to start putting ads on the show because I mentioned ad-free stuff in Patreon. So we're not putting ads on the show. We're not going to do that. First of all, they don't make us any money. Like, it's stupid. Like, I don't know why anyone with less than like hundreds of thousands of views on their videos would bother putting ads on. It's just annoying. Like, you guys hate it. I hate ads. You guys hate ads. It would make us like pennies a day. Like, it's not worth it to me. And it's not worth it to you guys. So we're not putting ads on the video. That's for the podcast. Because if you listen to the audio podcast, there are ads on those. It's done through like SB Nation or whatever. If you do subscribe on Patreon, I will just upload the podcast audio directly to the Patreon page. Then you don't have to listen to ads. You can just listen to my upload. So that's the ad-free thing that I'm speaking of, to clarify. And also, guys, like and subscribe. Help us out there. If you haven't done that yet,
Please.
Yeah. Please, yeah. Big help. We appreciate you guys. All right, so on the topic of the Saints, I do think the Falcons are likely to play better because it's hard to play worse than they did last time. It's still going to be a tough game. I mean, honestly, they probably should have won the first one. The Saints didn't exactly play great. The Falcons just played terribly. So, I wouldn't be shocked at all if they do win this game. I'm probably still not going to pick the Falcons because
I'm picking the Falcons. Let's roll.
Yeah, last time
we're winning this one.
I picked the Falcons for the second time all season against the Saints 2 weeks ago, and they lost. So I think I just need to pick against them, and then maybe they have a better chance of winning. Adnan's all in on the Falcons. I'm never gonna I'm never gonna say the Falcons are gonna lose to the Saints, but
I never pick the Saints in these games.
Yeah, well, you have the right idea. You have the right idea, but yeah, don't expect the Falcons to pull off 5 turnovers again. That's a lot. That's an absurd number of turnovers. That the Raiders should be ashamed of themselves. But I think that the defense will probably be okay. It's just up to the offense. Can Dirk Cutter call a game that's not goddamn terrible? I mean, even last week was not great. It was fine.
Yeah, I doubt that too.
I mean, the Raiders' defense is not good. They're 25th in the league.
I think if we win this game, we win it on the back of the defense.
Probably.
On the back of the defense, blitzing Hill, forcing some turnovers, and I can see an ugly 20-17 win.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. That's probably the most likely way they pull it off.
There's nothing ugly about a 20-17 win over the Saints.
There's nothing ugly about a 1-point win, baby. Just win. It don't matter.
This week the Saints. Next week we beat the Chargers. Then we beat the Bucks.
Yeah.
Then we beat the Chiefs.
Right.
Then we beat the Bucks again.
And then the Bucks again. Then the Bucks a third time in the first round.
I can't. This is my last show.
I said I would start believing the hype if they get back to 500. So we got three wins to pile up before that happens. So
I don't want to see this team in the playoffs.
I don't want to see them in
the hype train all year.
Yeah, Adnan's he's the opposite of a hater, guys. He's the conductor of the Falcons hype train.
I'm a hater?
I'm not saying I didn't say you were a hater. I said Adnan was not a hater. I'm not saying we're haters. I'm just saying Adnan's the opposite, of a hater. He's out here, conducting the hype train.
I'm delusional.
Yeah, he's just delusional. We're just realists, Yeah. Playoffs? Yeah, Daryl Scott, brother. We're not talking about playoffs yet.
I don't want to see him, man. I think this is a train wreck waiting to happen for them to go in.
This team is so damn weird. They get into the playoffs at 8-8 and then just upset someone that first week. Just because. They would do that. That's exactly what this team would do.
Yeah, 8-8, and then they gotta go on the road to Aaron Rodgers. Oh,
We know
great.
this team is like uncannily good against Rodgers.
Will probably be first if we beat the Saints this week.
Yeah. So
that's even more reason. Going back to reality, that's even more reason to root for this win. Saints right now are the 1 seed.
Yep.
So if we win, they'll probably be tied with the Packers if the Packers win their game. And
when they have the tiebreaker,
the Packers have the tiebreaker.
Yeah. That's
the
good.
Packers beat the Saints. So the Packers play the Eagles this week. And speaking of train wrecks,
my God, yeah, that team is
that's a massive train wreck. So the Packers' rest of their schedule is the Eagles, the Lions, the Panthers, the Titans, and the Bears. So the Titans in Green Bay and on December 27th. That's going to be, I think, on Sunday night. That's going to be a really good game.
Yeah. Get to watch future Falcons head coach Arthur Smith.
That looks like the only game that I would think the Packers could lose because the rest of those teams are absolutely horrendous. They just trounced the Bears.
Yeah, they did.
And so if the Falcons win this game, it could be just like how it was last year. Last year, the Falcons winning that Saints game was the difference between the Saints being the 1 seed and playing on Wild Card Weekend.
Yep.
And that could happen again.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So.
But also the Saints do still have to play the Chiefs.
Yeah. So.
Oh, that is right. Wait, It's in New Orleans, right?
It is in New Orleans, but it doesn't matter because you're putting Pat Mahomes in a dome.
Yeah, it's not helping you. It's not helping you.
You're putting Tyreek Hill and Pat Mahomes and all those
on the turf. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the Saints would rather that game be in KC. Actually.
Probably. Yeah. So, yeah. No, I mean, just remember, guys, the Falcons, they could win this game and that'd be cool. But outside of that Chargers game, they're not going to be favored again this year. They're just not. Maybe if the Bucs totally implode, then maybe they could be favored in one of those Bucs games. I mean, it could happen, but the Falcons are probably the Falcons have the best chance of beating the Chargers. They'll be favored in that game, but other than that, they have to play the Chiefs. They have to play Tampa Bay twice. That's all the games that are left. So, they're not going to be favored. I think the Falcons are winning 2 more games. One of them's the Chargers game. And I think they win one of the NFC South games at least. I think they either beat the Saints this week or they beat the Bucs once. So that's probably gonna be a 6-10 finish. They're probably gonna have a top 10 pick. It's gonna be new coaching staff, new everything. I don't think there's any scenario where Raheem Morris is the head coach next year.
But can you imagine a scenario where we go 8-8, we get that last spot, and then we beat the Saints in the first round?
I mean, I would enjoy that on a personal level.
I will never stop talking shit. But
with these scenarios.
Yeah. Adnan just has these scenarios, man. He's got them in his back pocket. Yeah. But for Raheem Morris to actually get the head coaching job next year, because I know people were asking about it early in the show, they have to win probably more than just a playoff game from the 8th seed. They probably have to get to the NFC Championship or something.
Honestly, no. I'd say no. I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
I think if he gets them to the playoffs, I think he closes it like that.
Even in a year with 2 extra seeds, probably.
I don't think that closes it. If he's 8-8 and they're in the playoffs, I don't think.
You mean to tell me they go from 0-5 to the playoffs?
I mean, last year they went from 1-7 to 7-9.
And they got
and Quinn sticked around, baby.
he sticked around, and then we went 0-5 the next year.
He didn't even get to the playoffs. He didn't even get to the playoffs.
Well,
he didn't sniff the playoffs. And he earned the job back. He earned another year. So I think with Raheem,
I mean that was a mistake though.
It was a mistake. I think they've learned their lesson with this late season surge crap. I don't think they're necessarily as influenced by it anymore. I think they would
so. It didn't work 2 years in a row.
Yeah,
exactly. It'll
It'll work this time.
No, it won't. It doesn't carry over. There's no such thing.
Run it back.
Run it back again. Yeah. I think they would this is an audition for Raheem Morris for other teams. This is not an audition for the Falcons. I am adamant about that.
Or for defensive coordinator.
Yeah, and I think they would really like him to stick around as their defensive coordinator. It probably just depends on the new head coach. I think that would make a lot of sense for a first-time head coach to keep Morris.
It would be smart. If he doesn't get any head coaching calls, it would be smart for the new head coach to say, hey, man, you know these guys. You've helped mold these guys over the latter half of the season. Why don't you come back and coach these guys next year? It
Yeah,
would be smart.
yeah.
And then to even keep Ulbrich as the linebackers coach as well, like yeah, it would. I think it would be.
Yeah, I mean that would be fine with me. So we'll see how that goes. But
I'd also would not mind Vic Fangio as defensive
oh
coordinator
yeah,
if he
yeah,
gets fired
he's
in
gonna
Denver.
be fought over though
Like,
if he gets
That'd be
fired.
that'd be a 3-4 thing, right?
Yeah, but like I don't know. I mean, this team has always been like straddling the line between 3-4 and 4-3 anyway. Like just if you like put Michael Walker on the line of scrimmage, then it's a 3-4. So I mean, it's just the 4-3 under is basically like a 3-4 with the third linebacker just standing back. So I mean, they already play like Alan Bailey and stuff. Marlon Davidson, like those guys could easily be 3-4 Ds. So like they honestly have the personnel to be 3-4, like with John Kaminsky and like Alan Bailey and Marlon Davidson. Tyler Davison's your nose. So like they have the personnel to play 3-4 if they want, but I don't think they like need to. But if it was the difference between Vic Fangio being here or not, then sure. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see who wins the Fangio sweepstakes if the Broncos do fire him. I don't even know if they will, but
I don't think they will.
I don't think so either. So, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap up. It's been a long show. We appreciate everyone for sticking around. Like I said, if you haven't already liked the show, we appreciate those likes. Help other folks on YouTube find it. If you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. You'll get notifications when we go live and all that good stuff. And like I said earlier, the Discord's up. The Patreon page is up if you're interested in either of those. We're going to get that Discord rocking. Yeah, we'll be back on Sunday to talk about this Saints game, hopefully talking about a Saints victory. A victory against the Saints, I should clarify.
Victory. Wait a minute.
A victory against the Saints. You guys know what I meant. This is the really long, game. I'm gonna like take off my shirt and there's like, a different jersey underneath. It's this super long game. This 5-year, betrayal worthy of Dante's Inferno. But yeah, no. We hopefully we'll be discussing that victory over the Saints on Sunday. But either way, we'll be here, guys. Talk football, talk Falcons. Hopefully not talk about Taysom Hill because that was not fun the first time. It will not be fun the second time. I guarantee. So
blitz him, please.
Yes, please blitz him, please. All right, before we get out of here, I want to give my co-host.
Or we'll go Galaxy Brain and rush 2 this time.
There you go. He's prepared for rushing 3. No one's ever prepared him for rushing 2. He won't know how to react. He'll freeze up back there. It's perfect. I agree on that.
Maybe we'll rush 0. We'll just drop everyone into coverage.
Hell yeah.
That is such a Dan Quinn move.
Yes. He would just like stand up all the D linemen and just like have them put their arms in the air and wave them around.
Drop all the defenders back.
You remember the Bears 4-6 in 85? We'll do the exact opposite of that. Everyone drops back.
Everyone drops into coverage. Oh my god. Wow. Let's not do that. I vote for not doing that. So before we get out of here, I want to thank my co-host. First of all, Adnan Ikic. He's at Say Which Way on Twitter. Adnan, anything you're working on you'd like to plug?
I'm doing a What If We Win or Lose article for this Sunday. And I'm not going to lie, had we beaten the Saints in the first game, I would have absolutely done a playoff scenarios article.
Yeah, because we'd be 5-6 now on the precipice of that 500.
If we go on a winning streak, I may do a playoff scenario.
Okay, well, that's fair. Yeah. I already started my draft position articles because I have no faith. But Eric's still cracking up about watching Dan Quinn drop 0 men into coverage.
He dropped 11 back on 3rd and 3.
Yeah, it's like 3rd and 1, and they just like run a slant like right behind the defensive tackle, and it's just like an easy completion.
And then you have Dirk Cutter in the press box. They can do that.
What?
Against the Raiders on Sunday, when they dropped 9 back in the red zone, did anybody think they were still going to give up that touchdown?
Oh, yeah.
I did.
I definitely thought, yeah.
Somehow they're still going to give up this first down. Just
Yep.
watch. Good Lord.
Yep. Oh man. All right, guys. Be sure to check that stuff out. Also, Eric Robinson at _Eric_Robinson on Twitter. Eric, anything that you're working on you'd like to plug?
I'll get the Saints preview done at some point this week. I don't know.
Sometime. Day or night sometime.
Sometime before Sunday.
Yeah. Before Sunday, definitely. Otherwise it'll be a recap. It'll morph into a recap.
Not on Monday, yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, guys, I am Kevin Knight at Falcoholic Kevin on Twitter. Today I had my quarterback prospect preview. We talked about the prospects we mentioned tonight. Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, Kyle Trask, those guys. So check that out. If you guys want a little bit of a primer on those QB options for the Falcons, I'll have my stats thing tomorrow, players to watch later this week. And yeah, guys, like I said, check out those things I mentioned, like subscribe, Patreon, Discord, follow the show on Twitter, Falcoholic Live. And we'll be back on Sunday after the game to talk about the Falcons' glorious upset of the Saints. Okay, it's going to happen. We speak it into existence. Until then, guys, enjoy the rest of your week. We will see you on Sunday. Have a good one, folks.